The countdown for both Scotland and Italy will begin in earnest on Saturday as they face each other in a Rugby World Cup warm-up game. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Scotland v Italy, it is a Rugby World Cup warm-up game. It's at Scottish Gas, Murrayfield, just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? In Edinburgh. I think that's the problem with having naming rights to sponsors. It's not a good name. But it's on Saturday 29th of July, kickoff is 3:15 BST. We'll have a look at the two teams, starting with the Scotland team. So fullback is Ollie Smith, right wing Darcy Graham, centres Chris Harris and Stafford McDowell, left wing Kyle Steyn, halfbacks then Ben Healy and Ali Price. Front row is Rory Sutherland, George Turner and Murphy Walker. Second row Sam Skinner and Scott Cummings. Back row then Luke Crosby, Rory Darge and Matt Ferguson. And then on the bench they've got McNally, Batty, Sebastian, Henderson, Bayliss, Doby, Kinghorn and Redpart. And then we have a look at the Italian team. So we got fullback is Pani, then right wing Bruno, the centres Menincello and Morisi. You got Montioni on the left wing, halfbacks Allen and Paige Reed. The back row then is Ruta Zuliani and Halafihi. Second row is Zambonin and Sisi. Front row Zani, Viva and Cesarelli. And then on the bench then we've got so it's Manfredi, Fischetti, Alonzi, Yachizi, then got Lorenzo Canone, Garbisi, DeRay and Mori. Okay, and in terms of then the last time the two teams played was in the Six Nations, so that was a 26-14 win for Scotland, and it was at Murrayfield as well. You had Van der Merwe scoring there. Blair Kinghorn actually scored a hat-trick as well, and I think pretty sure he was playing a fullback, right? But coming in as kind of a second playmaker. I could be wrong on that, but just kind of showed what he kind of offers there as well. And whether Hogg was going to retire or not, I think Hogg was going to be under pressure from him anyway for a starting spot in the Rugby World Cup. Tommaso Allen scored Italy's try scored a try for Italy in that game as well. I think he scored a try and then I think he scored two penalties and Garbisi got the other one. I think that's how it was, right? But yeah, so Alan's shown that he has a bit of threat there as well. But I'd say looking at the two teams, we have a look at them again, like with Scotland and I think Italy as well. They're obviously not full starting teams, but they're not really second teams either. I'd say they're kind of 1.5 because you got the likes, like for Scotland, you got Darcy Graham in there, you got Kyle Steyn, Ali Price, you got Sutherland, you got Darge, Matt Ferguson as well, all starting. But then you got a lot of players in there who are kind of second choice or so, or players who need to put hand up for the Rugby World Cup inclusion altogether. It's going to be interesting to see how Ben Healy goes at 10. Obviously switched allegiance from Ireland, and as an Irish supporter I wish him all the best. I hope he does really well for Scotland and hopefully he does get to go to the Rugby World Cup, because if he's not getting selected for Ireland, he's not going with them, he has a chance to go for Scotland, then I think he's right to jump at it. You got George Turner in there, I think, who was very impressive in the Six Nations. He's going to want to kind of continue that on. Rory Darge gets a chance to captain his nation as well, so that's going to be interesting to see how he handles that and how he goes overall as well in that back row. It's a fairly decent back row. Wouldn't say it is kind of the first choice back row, but they're all decent players who will ask questions about whether they should be included in the starting back row in the Rugby World Cup. Then on the bench, you got players like Batty and Kinghorn and Redpath coming on, who have got experience to bring as well. And you got some other players in there again who are kind of in the wider squad who will be looking to impress. For Italy again, you got like Pani, I think, is making his debut at fullback, so watch out for him because he is a very exciting player. You got then like Bruno and Ione on the wing, two established players there. Like Ione wasn't available for the Six Nations, but should go pretty well there. He's a very exciting player. Menoncello and Morisi in the centres, I think, is going to be interesting combination there to see how they go, and as well like Allen and Page, Rello in at halfbacks. I think that's going to be. I don't really know much about Page Rello, honestly, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes there. And then in the back row, you got Halafiki, again, someone who doesn't have that many caps to his name and will be looking to put his hand up. But again, Suliani and Rusa, he's in good company there. I think second row then, Zambonin and Sisi, I wouldn't say that either are really starters for the Rugby World Cup. So again, two players that are going to be putting their hands up, and the front row as well. There's plenty of opportunities there. You've obviously got the likes of Manfredi and Fischetti though to come on in that front row too, to really add to them when they're finishing off. I think Fischetti will probably be a starter in the Rugby World Cup. You got Yakizi then as well, trying to put his hand up for inclusion in that second row. I think there's a lot going to be a big battle for the second row berths, especially on the bench for them. And then you got like Lorenzo Canoni coming on too, into that back row just to boost it up a bit. You got Gerbisi to come on for Allen at some stage as well. And then you got DeRay and Mori, who again, two players who they've been around the squad, and probably I think Mori more likely to go to the World Cup. But I think both of them are definitely in with a shout for that one. In terms of how I think this one is going to go, I think, because both are kind of pick similar sides, I think if Italy had picked a stronger side, I would kind of fancy them to maybe cause an upset. But I think it's going to be one of these where they put in the performance, but Scotland are probably going to have a little bit too much of them, especially when the likes of Kinghorn come on from the bench, and maybe they're going to be able to pull away in the end. So I'm going for a Scotland win in this one.